cover this video in night vision, man. So, cause I know my weekend gonna kind of be tight. So I got to get them in where I get them in at. So, I was listening. I think BG Ibmore, he was reviewing Iran Will's video, right? And I talked about this, and I may even end up reviewing that same video, to be honest. You know, if I get some time at the desk, I might break down that exact same video, right? And I think a lot of, people ain't aware of this. So I've talked about it before. I did the video that it had the light-skinned brother in it where he was saying that if you ain't good at sex, don't get with a black or a white or a black woman or a Latino woman, right? So in this particular video, Ram is pretty much talking about the importance of sex to Black American women. It's more important than any other ethnic group, right? And the burden to perform and hold up that, Mandingo reputation is up to each black man, right? And sex is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the biggest difference between, black American women and other ethnic women, group of women. It's not family, it's not resources, it's not money. When you start talking about how they equate nice guys, why a lot of them don't like nice guys and they like criminals and stuff, they equate that to how, they equate that to bedroom. Everything they think of is their minds in the gutter. They're the most sexualized mind in the gutter, sex, just so important. Their importance is so much on sex, even before you get to the money, right? It's attraction. That's why they always debating. You see black women always debating about height more than any other woman on the internet. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. So it's attraction. It's all about the top things they look for is all about sex. It's so important to them. And when you can't deliver it to them, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, it's a disappointment. It's a huge disappointment. And, this is why they sexualize themselves so much, and they wear the cutoff hands. They the main ones shaking ass and showing coochie prints online and all that type of stuff. Their mind stays in the gutter more than the average men. I'm telling you, especially today, right? So a lot of things, it boils down to that, where you'll see that woman, oh, why she with that homeless guy? And you heard countless black women say it before, oh, homeless dudes can have sex real good. That's all they care about. They don't care about your pension, your 401k. If you give a great sexual experience to a black woman, the average black woman in America, you're going to have a retention rate. You're going to have that retention rate. You're always going to be able to reach out and hit it. That's the most important thing. And you hear them complaining all the time about sex and all that type of stuff, and the guys can't do this, and guys thing got to be that big, and he got to be able to do this and use it. And that's, just look at what they talk about on social media and amplify that times a billion, and what they talk about with their girls in private. Is that important to them? It's like the top of the list is more important than money. You know what I'm saying? They're more likely to walk away with a guy with money. And plus, a lot of times you can walk away and take half, but they're more likely to walk away with a guy with money than they are and not deal with him forever again and ever again than they are willing to walk away from a guy that can really hit it, right? And that's what it is. And so that's why when you start kind of getting the personality traits, that's what they equate it to. That's why you start talking about height, demeanor. They think criminals had the best sex. It all translates to sex. That's the number one thing they care about is sex. Even when you start talking about attraction, height, skin color or whatever, it all equates to sex with them. It doesn't equate to, is he a good man? Is he going to provide financial security or even sometimes physical security? Ron, talk, and I'm kind of going to jump around here because it's just an improv video. He also talked about sometimes you see a woman with a guy that, you like, damn, she could have did better. He looked rough, or he looked ugly, or he fat, or he might be short, but at the end of the day, he put it down. At the end of the day, he put the Hulk smash down on her, and that's what really. But no, really, they talking about, women, kind of black women talking about, oh, if you pay or you provide, you'll be I'll be submissive to you. A lot of times, black women are submissive to the penis. That's where the submission comes from. The submission comes from the penis. How you smash them is how they treat you and how they act. That's a fact. How you smash them, how you have sex with them is how they treat you. And he made another excellent point. He said, don't be one of those guys that brag about, being good in bed and you don't deliver. Well, BG said that. BG Gilmore, I hope I said his name right. He said, don't be that guy. Like, she's going to be furious with you. She's going to be furious. And I'm going to tell you, when you don't satisfy black women, they let you know. Now, if you got money or they like you, they hide it a little bit, but they let you know. It's a deal breaker for them. Being homeless isn't a deal breaker for most of them. I'm just talking about in general. Being short really isn't a deal breaker. Not having a car isn't a deal breaker. Being a bum, being a convict, being a pedo, being a criminal isn't a deal breaker. But the one thing, or not having money isn't a deal breaker. Being a drug addict, a drunkie. But where the deal breaker boil down to it at, if you can't fuck. If you ain't good at sex, that's the deal breaker. And he also went into women kind of consents when a man is adequate in bed. Right? And this is why, black men get sexualized by other women. Obviously, it's the reputation, but also black men have higher testosterone naturally than other ethnic groups of men. You can look it up. In the stature and the size and the height and the skin color. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very important. And also it has a lot to do with the rhythmic movement involved in the sexual acts. That's why they sleep with dancers and they be sleeping with strippers and all that type of stuff. But, he was saying that sometimes it's the look and also it's the feel. Sometimes it's the silent confidence. You got guys that'll sit there and they will brag about how good they are in bed. And to a woman, a lot of times that's a red flag. A guy that's always talking about sex. I mean, what did we do when we was younger? We was teenagers. We was in school. What color you pussy is, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Remember we used to act shit like this. You don't get no, that's what we would talk about. So just think about it. It was, but now you're not as anxious about it. If you get it on the regular, you get it. It's not really a big accomplishment. That's why it drops down your list of requirements when looking for a significant other. Real talk. But when you wasn't getting it, it was like, think about the wood. They put a pot into the first person who got some. So imagine you an adult and you out with a young lady and you just bring up sex. Y'all getting to know each other and you bringing up sex. Especially if you're dating a black woman. If you're dating a black woman, they're going to make the first move when talking about sex. You don't have to bring it up. They're going to bring up sex. 9 times out of 10, they're going to talk sexual. And a lot of guys that talk sexual first or act hypersexual, that just shows that you don't get no pussy. And a lot of women test that. When you press for sex and you meeting a girl and you pressing, that's a turn off to them. But when you play it and you just get to know them, or you really don't talk about sex, or you wait for them to initiate to talk about sex, or you play it the right way, and usually the guys that play it the right way, they're the ones that get it. It really ain't no big deal. If I get it tonight, if I get it down the road, if I get it tomorrow, it's not really a big deal. They're not giddy about it. They're not obsessed with it. It's pussy. And he spoke about that. They ain't really pressing about it like that. But the guys that press about it at the dinner table, the guy that badger the girl about it, bring it up first, keep bringing up little sexual little jokes, it's a turnoff for them. You know, some women got a very good sense of who they believe can, you know, tear it down. Sometimes they looking at your print. Sometimes they looking at your demeanor. Sometimes they looking at your frame. Sometimes they looking about how confident you are. Your comfortability. But if you giddy and you obsessed, they already know it's going to be a disappointment. It's going to be a 2-pump special. You know? And it's the same way where you look at certain women, and check this out. You might look at certain women and they may not, and I did a video on this, you may not be attracted to them as far as a long-term companion or holding them up in the air as your wife, but you just know the sex is phenomenal. You be look at her and like, you can tell. You can look at some women like, I know her shit fire. I know it's good. I know it's a good time. Like, you might not go to Publix with her. You might not go to Walmart with her. You might not go get no chicken wings with her, but you know the sex is fire. Some women you looking like, hey, I know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Women do the same thing. And this is why you see a lot of brothers, they go to Becky and other women, you know what I'm saying? And those other women are satisfied because on the top of their priority list, especially when you start talking about, you know, Philippines, DR, Becky, you know, even in some of the countries, a lot of the countries in Africa, they think is, you know, continuing legacy. They think is God, family, protection, provision, financial, you know, financial security. All those things come before they worry about somebody an orgasm. And B.G. Edmore said something on when he was talking about Ron Wills. You know, he was saying the porn industry, even in the porn industry, this is true, is that black women want to receive orgasms and white women want to give them. They have to give them in their community. And he was saying that this is, you never hear Brad talk like this. And even in conversations that you have in passing, you never hear them talk like this. Because honestly, for their women, sex isn't top 5 priority. You know, just talking about the overall average. Tradition, clearing bloodlines, financial security, potential, how you treat me, that's important to them. You can treat most black women like a wet $2 bill. But as you can make her orgasm, you can, you know, sexually please her, that's the end all be all. And that's the quality, that's the number one quality they pick dudes off of. You know, I remember I was trying to talk to this certain girl, and she ended up talking to this ugly nigga. I'm like, damn, you picked this ugly nigga over me. This is when I was in 2019, didn't understand it. There's a sexual attraction there. There's a sexual transaction as far as mentality, confidence, maybe you dangerous, attitude that makes them be like, yeah, sex is just the most important thing to the average black woman. You know, and it has been. And this is why you have a whole bunch of black women that even going back years and years and decades, that they have these ain't shit niggas, and then they get a step baby father who they never would have talked to if they didn't have a child, and they withhold box from them and they control them with the box and all that. You know what I'm saying? You catch what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just what it is. This is why you get them, going to the correctional facilities and prisons. This is where, you know, they glorify pookies and ray-rays and baby daddies and scammers and all that. It ain't about the money. It's about the thrill and it's about the sex. You know, and that just need to be said. But hey, man, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Peace.